In this video, I will be demonstrating exporting and importing references into EndNote. To begin, we're going to start at the University of Kentucky Library's Medical Center Library website. We're going to go to this Health Science Databases link. And here is a listing of popular databases in the health sciences. So we're going to cover PubMed, any EBSCO database, and Web of Science and Google Scholar today. So if you scroll down to the bottom of this page, you'll see a listing for all of the library databases, the A to Z list. So you can find your database if it's not a health science one. So let's get started with PubMed. And I'm just going to do a basic search for simulation in healthcare. Okay, so now I have my references. If I kind of scroll through this page, I decide, okay, I want these three. I'm going to take a look at these three. If I want to send those to EndNote, I can click this Send To and Citation Manager. And then I have the option to send the selection that I selected, the three article or the three references, or all results on this page, or all results. So I'm going to just choose selection 3 and create file. Okay, so now I can see that PubMed downloaded some citations MBib file onto my computer, and I can open that file. You can click on it. It might open automatically. If it doesn't open, just go to your EndNote library and your references should be there. So you can see that I have all references. I have 3 imported references recently added and unfiled. So I'm going to be doing some research today. So I'm going to go ahead and create a group. So if I just right click, I can select create group, and I'm going to say simulation research. If you were doing a search, if you're searching databases and exporting to EndNote and you needed to keep track of how many articles came from each particular database, you could also create groups based on the database name instead of your research topic. So I'm going to go back to my all references, and I'm going to select one, and then I'm going to go to edit and select all of them. Then I'm just going to drag all 3 of those references over to my simulation research group. Okay, so now they are, the unfiled went from 3 to nothing because they are now filed in a group. Okay, so let's go back to our PubMed page. You can also send your references from the citation manager from the clipboard. So if I have these 3 selected still. If I just select clipboard and then I go to my clipboard page, you can see that I have the option for send to citation manager. So you can send it to the citation manager if you're working from your clipboard as well. All right, so let's go back to our databases page, and let's take a look at CINAHL. CINAHL is one of our databases that we get from EBSCOhost. If you're off campus, you need to log in with your link blue. And I believe if you're on campus now, we've gone to Open Athens for authentication, so it may have you log in there as well. So as I mentioned, EBSCO is the vendor that provides the database CINAHL. If you select this Choose Databases, you can see that there are several other subjects that are available through EBSCO databases. And what I'm showing you today will apply for all of these databases. So it doesn't matter if it's, Business Source Complete or Newspaper Source or PsycInfo. What I'm showing you today will be the same. So I'm just going to do my search for simulation in healthcare. And I have several articles here. So if I'm doing research, I can select this add to folder option. And then when I go to my folder, I can select go to folder. And then I can either select all, and then I click this export button. And then there is a direct export to RIS format, which is EndNote. But then if you are using EndNote Web, it is a different, it's a different option. So I'm using the desktop version, so I'm going to select this one. And then I click save. Then it downloads a file onto my computer. If I open that, my 4 references will be listed. So you want to make sure that if you click on that download file and it doesn't do anything, just go to your EndNote library and see if they're there. So I am going to go ahead and move these, select all, and I'm going to move these to my simulation research. Okay. So now I have 7. And I'm going to go back to CINAHL. And I'm going to hit this back and back. The other option that you can do if you are just doing, say maybe one at a time. So let's say we look at this article here and we're like, yes, this looks really good. I want to export it to EndNote. So you can do that under this tools menu on the right-hand side and just click export. And again, you're looking for the direct export using EndNote. And then if you are using EndNote Web, you're going to select a different option. So then you just hit save and open the file. And you can see here the one citation that I exported from CINAHL is imported into EndNote. So I'm going to move that to my simulation research folder. Okay. Now let's go to Web of Science. So we're going to back out of CINAHL. This might take too long. And we're going to go to Web of Science. This is another popular database in the health sciences. I'm just going to close these. So you have the option to select either all fields or a topic. So I'm going to say simulation. And for this particular topic, I'm going to do change my topic. I'm going to do a nursing education. I'm going to be some more specific. And I'm going to do a search. Okay. So now I have my results. So I can, there's several options. So you can use this export button and then you can export to EndNote desktop, but you might want to select some of the articles first. So if I select, I want to look at this one, oh, that one is good, and this one too. All right. So then if I select export, I want to do EndNote desktop, not EndNote online. That's not what I'm using. So I'm going to select export to EndNote desktop, and then I have selected forward to export. And Web of Science, it's important that you understand you can only export 1,000 references at a time. So if you, let's say you had 2,000, you would do 1 to 1000, and then you would do 1001 to 2000. You'd have to do that in 2 batches. And then there's this record content. This is really important as well. I'm going to have this you selected for. So to get the full record, everything that's possible, you want to select full record. If you're interested in the cited sources as well, you want to select that. If you just want the minimal basic information, you could do author, title, source, and abstract. So I'm going to select full record, and then I'm going to export. Again, it saved a document onto my computer, and I open it, and here are the 4 imported references from Web of Science. So my other group was called Simulation Research. So I'm going to right-click again on my groups, and I'm going to create a group, and I'm going to call this one Simulation in Nursing. And I'm going to take those 4 references that I found, and I'm going to put those in that group. Okay, so now I have my research that I did on simulation, and then I have my simulation and nursing research. So I have 2 groups here. So then let's go back to our, another thing as far as Web of Science goes is you could, similar to the clipboard in EBSCO, or similar to the clipboard in PubMed and the My Folder in EBSCO, you can add these to a marked list. And if you add it to your marked list, then you can export, you can view your marked list and then export it from there. So this is your marked list. It's this folder over here on the left. And I have 3 unfiled records. So if I click on those, these are the 3 that I could then export. Okay, so let's go back. We've covered Web of Science, PubMed, and CINAHL. Now we're going to cover Google Scholar. So let's go to Google Scholar. So there's a couple of things that you can do with Google Scholar. If you have an account, if you have a Google account or a Google Scholar account, you can sign in, and you can go to your settings. So if I click on the 3 little bars and I click settings, I can click on this show links to import citations into EndNote. So I think the default is BibTeX. You can select EndNote, you can select RefWorks, whatever. For our purposes, we're going to do EndNote. So then we can save that. So then if we did, again, I'm going to search for this nursing. Let's do simulation and nursing education. Okay, so what happens is now that you've set that setting to show the import to EndNote, it's right here at the end. There's the PDF article, and then there's your import to EndNote link. So you can do these one at a time, or there is an option to star or save your articles. So I'm going to show you, I'll show you how to do it just once, and then how to do a batch load from Google Scholar. So if I click import citation, you can see I'm importing this one. And then I'm going to add this to my nursing research. And that's where it's added. Okay. So let's go back to Google Scholar. So if you want to export more resources than just one at a time from Google Scholar, you actually have to click on this little star to save it, and then you can create a label. So I'm going to put it in my EndNote file. So I'm going to say done, and then I'm going to save this into EndNote. Maybe I'm going to save these EndNote. You still have to do this this process one at a time. But in the long run, it will save you time because you can export the whole batch. Let's see. Okay. So now if I click, go back to my profile in my library, and you have to have a Google Scholar profile account to do this. But then if you select EndNote, here's all the articles that I selected just now, and I can select Export All, and then select EndNote. And so then I can select multiple citations at once from Google Scholar. And again, I am going to select all of these and add them to my nursing research folder. Okay. So that is how you import and export references from databases or something like Google Scholar into your EndNote account. One other thing that I will say is once we look at all references, you can see here that this Pamela G, this looks like a duplicate reference. I don't know what other ones do. This might be the only one, but there is a functionality within EndNote. We select all and we find duplicate records. You can find duplicates and remove those with your research. So that is a plus for EndNote, for using EndNote for research. One other thing that I want to point out is on our EndNote guide, let's go to the library's homepage, the Medical Center Library's homepage. And under research guides, you can see that we have our EndNote guide. And under our EndNote guide, this importing and exporting references, that we have a PDF, and it shows instructions again on how to do this in EBSCO, Web of Science, and PubMed. But it also shows, I think it shows Google Scholar as well. There's also options for importing references using PDFs with DOIs, which we did not cover in this video, and then manually adding references to EndNote, which we didn't cover in the video, but there's instructions here on this document. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to anyone on this EndNote guide for assistance.